I'm writing this at 3:47 a.m. from my childhood bedroom in my parents' house. Yes, you read that right. I'm 30 years old and living with my parents again. 6 months ago, I had everything: a devoted husband, a beautiful downtown apartment, financial security, and a life that looked perfect on Instagram. Now I'm scrolling through his social media at night, watching him live his best life while I can barely get a text back from the man I'd destroyed my marriage for. I know exactly how pathetic that sounds. Trust me, I know. When I met Ryan at that corporate mixer 8 years ago, I thought I'd hit the jackpot. He was 26, already making 6 figures in tech, drove a BMW, and looked at me like I hung the moon. I was coming off a string of disappointing relationships with guys who couldn't even afford to take me to dinner, so Ryan felt like a gift from the universe. I still remember how he approached me that night. I was actually there as my coworker Lisa's +1, feeling underdressed among all these successful people. Ryan walked right up to me with this confident smile and said, "I've been trying to work up the courage to talk to you for the last hour." It was cheesy, but the way he said it, so sincere, so genuine, made me melt. We talked for 3 hours straight. He was fascinated by everything I said, even my boring stories about working in marketing. When the event ended, he asked for my number and actually called the next day. Not a text, a real phone call. My friends couldn't believe it. "Guys don't do that anymore," my roommate Becca said. "He must really like you." He did. Ryan pursued me like men in movies pursue women. Flowers delivered to my office, reservations at restaurants I'd mentioned wanting to try. Thoughtful texts throughout the day asking how my presentation went or if I'd eaten lunch. After years of guys who would barely commit to plans an hour in advance, Ryan's consistency felt revolutionary. 3 months in, he asked me to be exclusive. I said yes immediately. Why wouldn't I? He was everything I thought I wanted: successful, handsome, stable, and completely devoted to me. My friends were beyond jealous. Every time we'd go out as a group, they'd pull me aside to tell me how lucky I was. "The way he looks at you," my friend Mia would sigh, "it's like you're the only woman in the room." I loved it. I loved the security, the validation, the jealousy from other women. When he proposed after 3 years together, I said yes, without hesitation. The wedding was everything I'd dreamed of: 150 guests, a designer dress, a honeymoon in Santorini. My Instagram was flooded with congratulations. Ah, shush, blessed bride. Perfect day. Hush, Mrs. Mitchell. The first 2 years of marriage were good. Really good, actually. Ryan was the same devoted man he'd always been, maybe even more so. He'd bring me coffee in bed every morning, making it exactly how I liked it. He'd plan surprise date nights. He'd brag about me to his coworkers. When I complained about my job, he encouraged me to quit and find something better, assuring me we could live on his salary while I figured things out. But somewhere around year 3, something shifted. Not with him, with me. It started with small things. I'd be lying in bed next to Ryan, scrolling through Instagram while he read his business books, and I'd see my single friend's stories. Tara in Miami with some new guy. Becca at a rooftop party in a dress I couldn't pull off anymore because Ryan thought it was too revealing for a married woman. Mia getting bottle service at clubs we used to go to together. Their lives looked so exciting, so full of possibility. Meanwhile, my life had become predictable. Ryan would come home at 6:30. We'd cook dinner together. Or he'd cook while I sat at the counter drinking wine. We'd watch Netflix. We'd have sex on Wednesdays and Saturdays. We'd spend Sundays at farmers markets or hiking. It was comfortable, safe, boring. I started going to the gym just to have something different in my routine. That's where I met Derek. Derek was everything Ryan wasn't. Where Ryan was steady and predictable, Derek was spontaneous and exciting. Where Ryan wore button-downs and khakis, Derek wore tank tops that showed off his sleeve tattoos. Where Ryan planned everything weeks in advance, Derek would text me at 10 p.m. asking if I wanted to grab drinks with his friends. He was my trainer at first, nothing more. But our sessions became the highlight of my week. He'd push me harder than I thought possible, then high-five me when I crushed a set. He'd tease me about my form, then guide my body into the right position with his hands. Professional touches that felt anything but professional. "Your husband's a lucky man," he said one day as I finished a set of squats. The way his eyes traveled down my body made it clear he wasn't just talking about my personality. I started booking extra sessions, started wearing cuter workout clothes, started timing my gym visits for when I knew Derek would be there, even if he wasn't training me. We'd chat between his clients and he'd tell me about his weekend adventures, concerts, beach parties, spontaneous road trips. "Must be nice being young and free," I said once, trying to sound casual. "You're young," he laughed. "What are you, 28? 29, I corrected, feeling ancient. 30 in a few months. "That's nothing. You've got your whole life ahead of you." But it didn't feel that way. It felt like I'd locked myself into a life that was aging me prematurely. My friends were still discovering who they were, and I was already settled into who I'd be forever. Ryan's wife. The emotional affair, because that's what it was, I can admit that now, escalated slowly. Derek started texting me outside of sessions. Just memes at first, then comments about how good I looked that day, then late-night conversations about life and dreams and feelings. "You seem sad lately," he texted one night at 11 p.m. Ryan was already asleep beside me. "Just thinking about things," I replied. "Like what?" "Like how different my life would be if I'd made different choices." "It's never too late to change direction," he wrote back. I stared at that text for 20 minutes, my heart racing. Meanwhile, Ryan remained oblivious. Or maybe he wasn't. Maybe he just trusted me too much. He'd see me texting and smile, probably assuming I was chatting with my mom or my friends. He'd encourage me to go to the gym, happy I'd found something I enjoyed. He even suggested we have Derek and his girlfriend over for dinner sometime. "Girlfriend?" I asked, trying to sound casual while my stomach dropped. "Yeah, he mentioned her when I ran into him at the gym. Sarah or something? Said they've been together a few months." I stalked her Instagram that night. She was 24, a fitness influencer with 50K followers and the kind of abs I'd never have. Her posts with Derek were nauseatingly cute. Couples workouts, protein shake dates, gym selfies. I hated her instantly, but I also couldn't stop thinking about Derek. The girlfriend revelation should have been a wake-up call, but instead, it made me want him more. I started fabricating reasons to be unhappy with Ryan. He was too predictable, too safe, too boring. "You want to try that new sushi place tonight?" Ryan would ask. "We always go out to eat," I'd snap. "Can't we do something different?" "Like what?" he'd ask, genuinely trying. But I didn't have an answer because the only different thing I wanted was to not be married anymore. The breaking point came on a Saturday afternoon in January. Ryan and I were on the couch, him researching vacation spots for our anniversary while I scrolled through Instagram. Derek had posted a story from a music festival, surrounded by friends, looking tan and carefree. His girlfriend was there, of course, hanging on his arm in a neon bikini top and high-waisted shorts I could never pull off. I felt this surge of jealousy and frustration. Why was I sitting on a couch planning another predictable vacation while people my age were living their actual lives? "What about Napa?" Ryan asked, showing me his laptop. "We could do wine tastings, stay at that B&B you liked." "We've been to Napa 3 times, I said. "Okay, what about, I think we should open our marriage." The words came out before I could stop them. Ryan's face went through about 10 different emotions in 5 seconds. Confusion, hurt, shock, then this careful blankness I'd never seen before. "What?" he said quietly. I should have backtracked. Should have said it was a joke or a random thought. Instead, I doubled down. I spent the next 30 minutes giving him a speech I must have unconsciously rehearsed in my head 100 times. I told him opening our marriage would make us stronger, that experiencing other people would help us appreciate each other more, that plenty of modern couples did it successfully, that monogamy was an outdated concept, that we were young and should explore before we got too old. Looking back, it was the most selfish, delusional word vomit of my entire life. But in that moment, I thought I was being enlightened and honest. Ryan sat there quietly the whole time, just listening. When I finally stopped talking, he was silent for so long I started getting nervous. "Are you already sleeping with someone?" he asked finally. "No," I said, which was technically true. "This isn't about anyone specific. It's about us, about growing, about—" "Who is he?" "There's no one—" "Who is he?" The way he said it, so calm but firm, made me realize he already knew. Maybe not about Derek specifically, but he knew something was going on. "It's not like that," I insisted. "I just think we got married young and—" "Okay," he said. "Okay?" "If that's what you want, we'll open the marriage." I was shocked. I'd expected him to fight, to argue, to beg me to reconsider. Instead, he pulled out his phone and made a call right there in front of me. "Hey, Alyssa, it's Ryan. Yeah, I'm good. Listen, my wife just opened up our marriage. What are you doing tonight?" My blood went cold. Alyssa from his office, the gorgeous sales director who always flirted with him at company parties, the one I joked about being into him. "Ryan, what are you doing?" He held up a finger, still on the phone. "8 sounds perfect. I'll pick you up. Wear something nice. I'll make reservations at Marcello's." Marcello's. The Italian place he'd tried to take me to for months, but I always said was too expensive and stuffy. When he hung up, I was in full panic mode. "You can't just— we need to set rules. We need to talk about boundaries." He actually laughed. "You just told me you want to fuck other guys, and now you want to talk about rules?" The crude language shocked me. Ryan never talked like that. I didn't say— "It's fine, Natalie. This is what you wanted." He stood up, heading to our bedroom. "I'm going to shower and get ready. Don't wait up." "Ryan, please, I think we should talk about this more." "No need. You made yourself clear." I followed him to the bedroom, watched him pull out his best suit, the one he wore to weddings and important client dinners. He showered, shaved, styled his hair. He looked incredible. When was the last time he'd gotten dressed up like that for me? "Maybe this was a bad idea," I said desperately. "Maybe we should just forget I said anything." "Too late for that," he said, adjusting his tie in the mirror. "You wanted this." "I don't want you to go out with Alyssa." He turned to look at me then, and the coldness in his eyes made me step back. "Why? Because you're the only one who gets to have options?" That's when I realized what I'd done. In my fantasy, I was the only one who would be seeing other people. Ryan would wait at home, grateful for whatever attention I gave him while I explored my options. The thought of him with another woman, especially Alyssa, made me physically ill. I spent the next hour crying, begging, trying to convince him not to go. I even tried initiating sex, thinking maybe that would remind him what we had. He gently moved me aside. "I need to go," he said. "I don't want to be late." "Please," I sobbed. "I'm sorry. I don't want an open marriage. I was being stupid." "We'll talk tomorrow," he said, and left. I called him 47 times that night. Texted him probably 100 times. He didn't respond to any of it. I stalked Alyssa's Instagram, torturing myself with her photos. She was everything I wasn't. Tall, athletic, confident, successful in her own right. I couldn't sleep. I sat on the couch where this disaster started, crying and refreshing social media obsessively. At 3 a.m., one of Ryan's co-workers posted a story from a bar. In the background, I could see Ryan and Alyssa at a table, her hand on his arm, both of them laughing. He came home at 7 a.m. looking tired but weirdly peaceful. "We need to talk," I said immediately. "I agree," he said. "I already called a divorce lawyer. They can see me Monday." The bottom dropped out of my world. "What? No, Ryan, please, it was a mistake." "It wasn't a mistake," he said calmly. "You've been checked out of this marriage for months, probably longer. The moment you told me you wanted to sleep with other people, our marriage was over." I don't want to sleep with other people. I was confused. No, you want to sleep with one specific person. Your trainer, right? Derek? I felt my face burn. How did you... I'm not stupid, Natalie. You think I didn't notice you coming home glowing from the gym, hiding your phone, the way you talk about him constantly? Nothing happened between us. It doesn't matter, he said. The fact that you want it to happen is enough. I called my friend Emma, sobbing hysterically. She came over immediately, ready to comfort me and bash Ryan. But when I told her what happened, her face changed. Wait, you asked for an open marriage? Yes, but... And he went out with someone else? The same night. He didn't even wait. Natalie, she said slowly, you literally asked for this. I didn't think he'd actually do it. Then why did you ask? I couldn't answer that honestly without admitting I wanted to cheat guilt-free. Word spread through our friend group quickly. The story got twisted in the telling. Some heard I'd been cheating, others heard I'd demanded an open marriage, then got upset when Ryan agreed. Either way, I didn't come out looking good. My parents were horrified. That wonderful man devoted 5 years to you, and this is how you repay him? My mother said. What is wrong with you? Even Derek, when I finally broke down and told him everything, wasn't sympathetic. That's rough, he said, clearly uncomfortable. But you did ask for it. I thought maybe you and I started. Whoa, he said, stepping back. I have a girlfriend, Natalie, you know that. But all those texts, the flirting... That was just friendly banter. I flirt with all my clients. It's part of the job. The humiliation was complete. I'd destroyed my marriage for a fantasy. The divorce was swift and brutal. Thanks to our prenup, which Ryan had wisely insisted on, I didn't get alimony. The apartment was in his name, so I had to move out. I couldn't afford a place on my own in the city, so I moved back in with my parents at 30 years old. But the worst part was watching Ryan thrive without me. It's been 6 months now, and Ryan is living his best life. He's dating Alyssa officially. She posts cute couples photos that get hundreds of likes. They went to Costa Rica last month, something he'd always wanted to do, but I'd said was too adventurous. He got promoted at work. He looks happier in every photo than he ever looked with me. Meanwhile, I'm a 30-year-old divorcee living with her parents, swiping through dating apps and matching with guys who ghost me after they find out I'm recently divorced. Or worse, the ones who stick around just want hookups because divorced women are experienced and know what they want. Derek still trains at my old gym. I had to switch locations because seeing him was too painful. He and his girlfriend are still together. They're moving in together next month. My friends have distanced themselves. Some took Ryan's side openly. Others just got tired of hearing me complain about a situation I created. Emma told me last week that she can't listen to me cry about Ryan anymore. You had a good man who loved you, and you threw him away because you wanted to act single, she said. At some point, you need to accept that this is your fault. She's right. I know she's right. But it doesn't make it hurt less. I think about that Saturday afternoon constantly. How different would my life be if I just said, Napa sounds perfect, honey, instead of blowing up my marriage? I'd still be in our beautiful apartment, still be Mrs. Mitchell, still have a husband who looked at me like I hung the moon. Instead, I'm alone, scrolling through his Instagram at 4 a.m., watching him live the life I threw away. Last week, Alyssa posted a photo of them at a work event. Ryan was looking at her the way he used to look at me, like she was the only woman in the room. The caption read, "So grateful this amazing man came into my life. Sometimes the best things come from the most unexpected places." The comments were full of people saying how perfect they looked together, how happy Ryan seemed, how lucky Alyssa was. One comment from a mutual friend said, "Upgrade of the century." That one hurt the most because it was true. I've started therapy, trying to understand why I self-sabotaged so spectacularly. My therapist says I have issues with commitment and grass is greener syndrome, that I mistook comfort for boredom and stability for stagnation. that I let social media and comparison poison my perspective on what was actually a healthy, loving marriage. You had everything many people spend their lives looking for, she told me last session, but you couldn't see it because you were too focused on what you thought you were missing. She's assigned me to write a letter to Ryan that I'll never send, taking full accountability for my actions. I've started it a dozen times but can't get past the first paragraph without crying. Dear Ryan, I destroyed us. I had a husband who loved me unconditionally, who built his life around making me happy, who never once gave me reason to doubt his devotion. And I threw it away because I wanted to feel 22 again. But what's the point? He's moved on. He's happy. Happier than he ever was with me, probably. I know I'm supposed to learn and grow from this, to become a better person, to eventually find love again with someone new. But right now, at 30 years old, starting over while watching my ex-husband live our former life with someone else, I can't see how. They say you don't know what you have until it's gone. They're right. I had everything, and I set it on fire because I wanted to play with matches. And the worst part? I have no one to blame but myself. The open marriage I asked for? It opened all right. Opened the door for Ryan to walk out of my life and straight into a better one. Without me.